But you know what? I haven't told you this story yet because this was going to be well, it was a big deal, but it was a bigger deal than I thought it was. But this past week was Valentine's Day. And obviously, the thing that everybody does on Valentine's Day is they go out to dinner with their betrothed or their beloved or their fiancés or financiers or whatever the case. And it's a horrible night of the year to try to get a reservation or good service at a restaurant because they're all jammed, they're all packed. It's just chaos, right? And so me being smart, being an intelligent guy, I told Stace, this year what we'll do is we'll have a Valentine's dinner at home that we'll cook ourselves on Valentine's Day, and then I'll have reservations at that wonderful restaurant that we had our anniversary dinner at in downtown Louisville, Brendan's, for the day after Valentine's Day when there'll be absolutely nothing going on because everybody's gone out and shot their wad, as they say, on Valentine's night. So it'll be a ghost town because that's the way I like a lot of room. I get to claustrophobia. I don't want people on top of me even before the pandemic. I don't like crowded, congested streets and traffic and problems with parking. And this is going to be so easy, Brian, because there is a hotel right next to the restaurant that has valet parking. And you can buzz right up right in front of the fucking door of this place and drop off at the valet and walk right in, sit right down, and whatever the rest of the words are of that song. And it's just easy peasy pumpkin pie, right? So that's what we're going to do. And that's what we do. I said do. So Wednesday, and the reservations are for 6:45 so that we can have the big meal that I know we're going to have and still get home in time for me to not be up past 10 o'clock because, goddamn, I'm old and I need my sleep. So we go down, we leave, and we're past traffic time on the way to downtown, and this is going to be easy. And as soon as we get off the 3rd Street exit and come to the light, every street that we can see up the hill is jammed, and there's people with the glow sticks waving people into the parking and waving them through the intersection. You can't even use the red lights. They're going to determine when you can stop and go and all this stuff. What the fuck's going on? I said, is there some kind of game at the arena? The Yum Center. Almost throw up a little bit when I say that. We went from Freedom Hall to the Yum Center.
Even as a company name, it's just such a stupid name.
Yeah. But and so
Yum
stupid
Brands.
that they've got $74 billion. So fuck those guys. But anyway.
Well, not because of that branding, not because of their
they had $74 billion because of the food that was created before they decided to name it all Yum.
Yeah, exactly.
Nevertheless, I'm like, what the fuck's going on with all this? There's got to be something at we're going to be down here, and if it's going on, that won't affect the restaurant. So finally, we navigate around all this traffic, and we finally you go down 4th Street. It's very narrow now because there's part of it, 4th Street Live, it's blocked off to vehicle traffic anyway, and the rest of it's very small because it's all the attractions. But we get down there, we pull right up in front of the hotel, and I signal the valet guy, and I said, "Hi, we're valeting." And he said, "Are you registered?" I said, "No, we're just going to Brendan's." "Oh, we can't." I said, "Well, the last time we were here," he said, "Oh, normally we can." I said, "But all of our valet spots are full. We've only got 250. I said, "What the fuck's happening around here?" He said, "Oh, it's the farm show." I said, "What?" "The farm machinery show." Now, I should back up and explain to everybody that living in Louisville, Kentucky, I know that once a year out at the fairgrounds, they have a farm machinery show. And from what I've been told and absorbed through hearing it on the news and or just being around this town for so long, many people like to come to the farm machinery show and look at the farm machinery and purchase the farm machinery and show off the farm machinery and, for all I know, pleasure themselves while riding the farm machinery. I knew that they had one, but if you'd have held a gun to my head, I wouldn't have been able to tell you the time of year that it takes place because I don't give a fuck about farm machinery. But apparently, on this particular year, it's the goddamn 4 days after Valentine's Day. And downtown is jammed. And they can't, and their parking is full. And that's part of the Stace can't walk long distances because of her back and the treatment she's having on that. So this is going to be easy. Oh, you can just go right around the corner and park in the garage behind the Sealback, I think it was. All right. So we go around the corner and pull back in this alley, good God, and up this ramp that looked like a fucking water slide. If I'd have driven Black Beauty, I wouldn't have been able to get up the thing. And park and walk through the thing and around to chase the cat that ate the rat and finally get to the restaurant and go inside this restaurant, and it's fucking jammed. And this is one of the higher end restaurants in town, but apparently it was all the farm show clientele because every adult male was either wearing a baseball cap, a cowboy hat, or overalls. It looked like the fucking national gathering of the Junior Samples fan club. Google him, kids. It's hilarious. So, oh, Jesus, but we have the reservation, and the lady that took care of us last time, Eliza is her name. She saw us, and we had her there as one of our servers at the table, and they gave us the booth right there that we saw that when we first came in. I said, boy, it'd be great if we had that booth. And that's exactly where they put us. And that's exactly where we sat for the next almost hour and a half before we got our appetizers.
Oh, my God.
Because, and I mean, I'm not complaining about the restaurant. I'm complaining about the circumstance. The food is always fantastic. And it was eventually here. And the service last time was impeccable. But this was not only slam, but this wasn't romantic couples like at each table that would have been celebrating Valentine's Day. This is a goddamn, every gathering is 4 to 6 to 8 to up to 10 fat fucking men that are apparently ordering and eating and drinking everything in sight and asking a ton of questions. And the servers are fucking all look like they're having a goddamn nervous breakdown. And the kitchen is slammed.
Were you the most dressed up person there?
Yeah, actually, yes, I was. And I wasn't even wearing a tie. I had a shirt, long sleeve shirt, and a pair of slacks on. And I won't say I was the most dressed up. There were several females there that were very dressed up. It apparently had been on display over at the farm show earlier in the day. But anyway, so then after that, and I mean, our poor server again is apologizing, and she looks like she wants to, fucking go to the Ohio River Bridge and take a fucking swan dive. And they gave us some free stuff. But by the time that we sat down and actually got our dinner, it was 2 hours and 20 minutes before we started eating the main course. By then, things had started settling we got bread about an hour 45 in. It was like dinner and a Raw. It was dinner at the pace of Monday Night Raw, where, you had a little something, and by the time you got something else, you were almost over having the whole thing. But the farm show, sabotage is what it was. So I was trying to take the path of least resistance, and I wound up facing a tsunami of popular. And see, that's my big blowout. And the food was fantastic, but that's my big blowout. Because, I told you about my colon. Was it last week? I told you about my colon.
Yeah.
And you were interested, Brian. You were.
Oh, so interested, yeah.
The 30 or 40 something thousand people on YouTube were after this show aired. Who can talk about their colon and get that much interest, I ask you? But nevertheless, I'm going to be nice to my colon. I've
Mandy Rose.
Okay, all right. Maybe her. I learned many years ago that it would behoove you to care for your uvula. And also, at the same time, you don't need to go bowling with your colon. You need to take care of it, too. So that was my big blowout, and I'm trying to go 2 weeks without eating any red meat. And Do you know what the record is in my life for going without eating red meat?
No.
I think about the first 18 months of my life. I think whenever the first time that I started eating red meat, since that point, I can't imagine it's been a week that I would have gone by accident. You know, maybe one day I had fried chicken. Next day you have fish. Next day there's a pizza. There's no red meat. I don't know, how I would have. I've never tried to actually abscond from red meat. But I was thinking about exercise. I was looking at some of those exercise bikes, but then fuck, exercise bikes get you nowhere. So instead, I'm going low carb. I'm cutting out the red meat for a couple of weeks, eating more of the wheat stuff. What?
Could you do a meat-free day? Do you think you could do like a meat-free Monday?
Well, now let's not just. Do you want to inflict that on our listenership or the world?
It's one day. It's one day. It goes by quick. You have some other delicious things.
Well, wait a minute. What, does fish count as being meat free?
It's in the eye of the beholder. So whatever you wish.
Well, if that counts, then I have meat free days. Somewhat often.
Does fish count as meat to the vegetarian and vegan? Well, I guess vegetarians and vegans are different. So
I don't know what the vegans think or what the vegetarians think. Oh,
meat.
now you're typing it in.
Now I'm typing it in. Is fish meat?
Is fish meat?
Fish is the flesh of an animal used for food, and by that definition, it's meat. However, many religions don't consider it meat. There are also several important distinctions between fish and other types of meat, especially in terms of their nutritional profiles and potential health benefits.
Well, now that's what the Presbyterians say, but what do the vegetarians say?
I just clicked, is fish legally meat?
What? No, that's not only if the fish is over a certain age.
Well, wait, this is interesting. The American Meat Science Association
in Zurich, Switzerland,
defines meat as red meat, beef, pork, and lamb, poultry, fish, seafood, and meat from other managed species. Whatever that may be.
But you always hear meat and fish like it's two different things. So but no, what is fish?
Not enough people respect the ocean. I don't know.
Wait a minute. Is fish vegan or vegetarian? Either one.
Fish? Let's start with vegan, which we don't even know the distinction between the two. Vegans don't eat fish.
Oh!
As one of the main types of vegetarian diets, well, that answers that question too, a vegan diet involves abstaining from eating any meat or animal products. This includes meat and poultry, as well as fish and shellfish. Vegans also avoid...
you can't even have a paltry piece of poultry.
Vegans also avoid...
You have to be selfish with your shellfish.
Vegans also avoid other foods derived from animals, including honey, dairy products, and gelatin.
What now? It doesn't kill the cow to give the milk.
But it comes from a cow. I don't even think it's about necessarily just the slaughter or the people who object to the...
So the reasoning behind this is not even a compassionate one, but you're just depriving yourself of shit for random reasons?
Well, there are people who believe that the human body may not have actually been built to absorb cow's milk. That's a big thing out there.
What the fuck? People have been drinking cow's milk for fucking thousands of years. What the fuck? How could we not be built to survive or thrive drinking cow's milk when that's primarily what children have drunk for hundreds and hundreds of years? I say to you.
I'm not defending it.
Well, you better not.
But there are a lot of lactose intolerant people out there, and if you can't tolerate
we need to stamp out intolerance. Fuck those people.
So you think they should be forced to absorb milk or drink milk?
I think we should take all those people and put them in camps or buildings somewhere, and let them spread their intolerance to each other rather than spreading intolerance across us other more tolerant people.
Well, hold on. Here's another one. Why do vegans still eat fish? Now, what does this say?
Well,
people who eat fish, if they are considered pescatarian and are not vegan or vegetarian at all. You may find that some vegans do consider some seafood to be okay to eat because there is no central nervous system. There is no central nervous system. Oysters are a common controversy here. I'm sorry. I mean, it's sound. It's just the first time you hear it, it's somewhat funny.
What now? You don't want to eat something with a central nervous system? Well, the way that you're putting it now, I don't want to eat a motherfucker with a central nervous system either.
As soon as you hear that phrase, it does make it sound pretty bad.
It's not nothing I've ever seen on a menu. Hi, we've now got this ribeye steak that comes from a cow that had a central nervous system. I think these people are thinking about this shit a little too much. I'm going low carb. I'm broiling and baking instead of frying, wheat instead of white, and I'm trying to stay away from the sweets.
Are there vegetarian fish? Fish and seafood of any kind, just like the meat of other animals, is not vegetarian. Fish is not vegetarian. Shrimp is not vegetarian. Lobster and crab are not vegetarian. And eating any kind of animal who lives in the sea, lake, or river is not vegetarian.
It's Methodist.
That's right.
I'm glad we got all that straightened out.